Hi everybody, welcome to 12-Foot Chain. Really excited about this week's lesson. Song is going to be And I Love Her. And the reason why I love this song and I wanted to bring this to you is this was a song that really opened my eyes when I was really early on learning the guitar and learning how to solo. And the unique thing about this song is that there's really nice little tasty classical guitar parts that are played up on the neck. And something clicked with me where I understood for the first time that when you're making these chord shapes up here, up in the neck, which is what he was doing on all of this, it creates a really great opportunity for melodic soloing. But it helped me understand that these are just parts of chords. You know, solos can be thought of as just little parts of chords. And as long as you know the basic chord shapes, you can move them up the neck and you can have some really beautiful, tasty playing like that. And this was a fantastic example of that. And so wanted to spend some time on that song. Okay, so let's start with the rhythm guitar. Rhythm guitar. So this song is primarily in F sharp minor. And it does have a modulation, a key change up half a step to G minor, starting from the guitar solo and then all the way out. But the chords are fairly simple. And as always with many Beatles songs, the chords aren't particularly difficult, but they always throw in one little thing. If you don't get that little thing in there, it never really sounds right. So we'll talk about what that is for this song. So F sharp minor and E, but it's an E6. You want to add that note on there. So that's your normal E chord. You add your pinky on the B string at the 2nd fret for the 6th. And that happens a number of times in Beatles songs. John is playing the rhythm, and I don't know if he chose to add that in or if, you know, he was instructed to or whatever, but he plays that chord again, or he plays that chord again in Ballad of John and Yoko. Right? Anyway, it's an E6. So don't play an E, play an E6 every time you're going to play an E. So it moves from strum pattern. He's very, very deliberate. If you listen to John Lennon's early acoustic, or in the early mid-years, when he's playing a lot of rhythm, he hits it pretty hard. And he's very deliberate on how he does it. I tend to have a softer touch. But when you really want to play like him, you have to hit it hard. So anyway, F sharp minor. Then during the verses, C sharp minor, back to F sharp minor, alternates between those two. Then it's going to go A to B seventh. E6. So that's it for the verses. When it does the key change, we'll talk about that in a minute. It's the exact same positions. You're just sliding them up one fret. Okay. The bridge is C sharp minor, back down to B, then G sharp minor. So notice this happens a lot in pop music. The B and the G sharp minor, those are related chords. I don't know if you call that the relative minor to B, but C, A minor, same thing. It's the same interval. 1, down 2, down 3 frets. Here's B, down 1, down 2, down 3 frets. A lot of the same notes are in those chords, so they're related. A lot of songs in pop music, they alternate between those two because you don't want to keep repeating the same things a lot. He could have gone. Ending on B. So he had to go somewhere else. And he also could have gone. But it's too repetitive. And a lot of times when you're crafting your songs, you need to have sort of like a part 1 and a part 2, an A or a B. And they need to be close, they need to be related, but they need to be different. And that's the great part of that little bridge. Right? So it just introduces a different feel. Anyway, that's great. Key change. Let's talk about the key change now. The key change, it happens at the guitar solo. And I love her. G sharp or G minor. It's the same as the normal verse rhythm chords there through that section. You're just gonna shifting your position up a fret. D minor, G minor, D minor. It's gonna go now B flat to C instead of A to B because you're up a fret. Now it's an F6. So you can either play that as the short part, you can thumb over, or you can kind of cheat it if you can cover these two strings with your ring finger. But I think knowing John Lennon being the guy that he took the easy way a lot of times. So it's either that or it's thumb over. And that's the rhythm. So first half the song is in F sharp, or first 2/3 of the song is in F sharp. Last third is in G. Now let's talk about those tasty parts on the classical guitar. All right, so these parts are played by George, and he is alternating. I believe he's alternating between using a pick and his fingers. I could be talked out of that. Up here when he's playing these little noodling parts that we'll go over Sounds to me like he might be actually using his fingers. It sounds like the attack and the sound on the string when he's doing that is a lot more pronounced, and I believe that's a pick. Up here, it seems a little softer, and it seems to me it might be finger instead of, which is kind of the feel with this, you know, with the classical guitar, the Spanish guitar sound. You want that. But I think he's using a pick down here on these parts. So what's he doing? So again, we're in F sharp minor. And it's building off of that E6 that I talked about. That E6 note, remember when you're playing an E? It's that. You could have played a normal E, but you played a 6. So that note is also there. And it's a great place to land on that little riff. The riff itself is actually, you could just say it's in an E major scale, but he lands on that note there because that note is in both those chords. It's in the F sharp minor, and it's also in the E. That's why it works for both. Right? Works in both. Genius. So he's doing this on the 2nd fret. So I start, what you want to cover off on is on the 2nd fret, A string and D string. And then you're back to 1 on D. And then you're going to stretch and land on D flat. So it's a bit of a stretch with your finger. And if you listen to the recording, he's not doing a slide. It's not that. He's hitting it. So he's either coming at it from that point, or he's coming at it from the top, which it could be. I learned it this way, so I'm playing it that way. And every once in a while, you can throw in. I do. I throw in a slide every once in a while. So that's the main riff. Now, here's the interesting part, and here's why I really wanted to do this lesson. So these little noodling parts that he's doing up here, they're just, all they are the parts of the chords that are played up here on these last 3 strings, up here at the 2nd or 3rd position, right? So our chords are F minor or F sharp minor. Well, the F sharp minor up here is here. I mean, the whole chord is here, but you're only playing these 3. And then the other one's what? E6. Well, the E6 is right here. And then what's the other change? It goes to an A to a B. Or a B7, actually. So where's your A and B7? Here's your A, which is a D shape, right? It's the same as the D shape. It's up here on the 7th, 9th fret. That's your A. And then your B7 is up there on 9, 10, 11. 11 on the G, 10 on the B, 11 on the E. And then you resolve that to your E6. So your chords again are right? When it modulates and you go to the solo, or you go to the solo section, and after the solo section, it's the exact same positions, but again, you're sliding up a fret. So instead of your E6, you're now on a F6. So here's E, so here's F. You're now at G minor, B flat, C7. So that's how we're going to do that. But I just want to show you those positions. And all that is the little parts of the triad chords that we're playing, that the rhythm guitar is playing underneath it. All right. So let's talk about that. Let's go back to our F sharp minor. So the first time that this comes in, on the lyrics, she gives me everything, it's the piece of the F sharp minor. E6. Back to F. E6. F sharp minor. A. B7. E6. Okay. So you're just concentrating on those shapes on those three strings. So let's talk about the bridge section now. So he comes out of the verse section into that bridge. So he's A to B, B7, E6. Well, if you look where you are now, that is the position that you're already at for your C sharp minor. You're just playing it up here, right? To my ear, it sounds like he's starting that up here. He could be playing it down here. But if it's all done in one take, which may be unlikely, but if it's all done in one take, he could jump down there. Could be up there. Now I hear that note on the B, so I think that's the second chord. That's why I think he might be up here. And notice he also switches to a pick, I think. So he's coming off the riff, C sharp minor to B. Then I think he moves down. And we go to our relative minor now, our G sharp minor. And these are just dragging your pick across the string on the one, right? Goes to a B, and then B7. Back to your riff. Notice the other times that he's going up here and doing that riff, it starts on the E6 because he's just played this. And the lyric comes in, bright are the stars. So he's holding that. He can't get to the F sharp minor fast enough, so he starts on that. Starts on the E6 this time. Let's go to the guitar solo now. So we're going to modulate up to the G minor. So he's playing the melody. He's playing the vocal melody. And I believe he's playing it with a pick. I don't think he's playing it with his fingers. So you could start it with an open. I have learned it this way. But I start on the G on the D string. So it's G, 2 on the G string, 3 on the G string, and then you jump up to the E, so the 5 on the B string, down to the D, and slide up to the F. So the picking pattern is right? And you notice it's just the vocal line. So you climb up to the F, and then you climb up to the F, and you climb down to the D. Up to the the F. Up again. I keep landing back here. You could be open. So that is F, D, B flat, A, G. Either way, open or 5 on D. When I hear that, I kind of hear that. And then we close off on and I love her part. So it's like you're making a C power chord. I do it with my index and pinky, but it's 3 on the A string, 5 on the D string. 3 on the A string. You slide up to 5 on the A string, and you resolve on 7 on the D. And the last part is got a pull off and a hammer on. Actually, it's not a pull off, but there is a hammer on. So you start on C, A, G, and then F and hammer onto a G. So all that together. Really, he hits those hard. I'm sure it's enhanced through recording production, but he's hitting those hard, and it sounds to me again like he's using that pick. So on that out part, like really dig into that. In fact, all of that solo. If you listen to flamenco guitar, you listen to classical and Spanish guitar. They're not shy about how they're hitting the strings and how they're plucking the strings. It's hard because when you have nylon strings like this, they ring differently than the steel strings. You really want to get the full throated body of what this instrument has to offer. And a lot of times you really have to hit play it with passion. So you could hear he's picking those hard. Play with confidence. And strong. You can really hear that. There's a little bit of fret buzz and all that. It's okay. It just brings the passion out. Then the last bit, since we're so now we're in G minor, our parts up here that we learned are all the exact same parts. They're just up one single fret, right? So instead of playing the E6, now we're F6. So that is 7, 8, 9, 10 fret. Same shapes. Same relative to each other. Just 1 fret higher than we had it. There's the C7. And then back to our riff. But now we're up a fret. You could go up open string. I don't believe he does until the very last one. So your riff is still doing your right. And in your last one, that's when he goes to the open D. I don't think he does the full chord. I think John's playing the chord. He does a pop on it. And that's it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson today. For me, this opened my eyes. That example of playing those little chord shapes up here helped me understand how you can sort of craft guitar solos just simply thinking about the chords. What are the parts of the chords that are further up the neck? Can you play the notes around those chords across the bed of the rhythm that's happening? Of course you can, and it'll sound great. Even if you're just playing the rhythm or you're playing the melody of what's going on. It's fantastic. But that's all that's going on up here. These are just the parts of the rhythm chords, and they're played, another octave higher, and they stand out and they sound fantastic. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. And if you like what we're doing here, please click like and subscribe and let us know in the comments what you think about this. And also let me know what song you want to hear me tackle on next week. Until then, take care, everybody.